Hello, Curran here. Welcome to week 5. This is the week 5 launch video. I'm going to go over what we're going to do this week. I'll start with the week 5 reading and lecture. I'll start with the reading, chapter 7, Arrange Tables. This is a great chapter because it sort of relates data with the marks and channels to these common visualization idioms that you see all the time, like scatter plots and bar charts and line charts, pie charts, all that. And it sort of ties in with this concept of the grammar of graphics, which leads into, if you did get a copy of the grammar of graphics, this chapter 9 is really interesting. Also, please read this paper, A Layered Grammar of Graphics by Hadley Wickham. Just take a look and skim it, really. You don't need to do a detailed reading. But this is the foundation for ggplot2, the R library. Also, please watch this awesome talk by Amit Kapoor, Visualizing Multidimensional Data. This is really interesting, and when I came across it, I felt inspired. It's a great talk. And he touches upon a lot of the same techniques that are mentioned in the chapter. And he's used ggplot2 to actually create a lot of these graphics in the video. Next, let's talk about this participation exercise, voice your desires. As we move through this course, I want to get your feedback and understand what is it really that you want to get out of this class, and how can I better shape the rest of the course to make it as useful as it can possibly be for you. So please voice your desires. Just respond to any of these questions, post it in the Slack, and copy paste the comment as the submission for this assignment in Canvas. Next, I'll talk about this assignment, responding to Resize. What I'd like you to do here is take your favorite visualization that you've made so far, probably best to use one that uses your project dataset, actually, fork it, and then make it respond to resizing of the browser window. You can use the code from this example here, responding to Resize. If you open it in a new window, you can see the behavior that if you take it out and you can resize the window, and you see that this X responds to the size of the browser. So what I'd like you to do is make your visualization have the same behavior. This is the sort of behavior that it should have when you resize the browser. This resizable scatter plot is implemented in this DataViz project template repository that I've created that you can fork for your project. The key thing that you need to do to make this work is to use the general update pattern. This is a pattern you can use with D3 to make dynamic interactive visualizations. These two videos that I made explain the general update pattern. They're a bit rough, but I think you can learn from them. And there's a lot of great resources here that you can also use to learn more about the general update pattern. By the way, Block Builder has these widgets on the side. You can switch to side-by-side mode, which lets you resize the embedded visualization. There's also go into full screen, which you can also use to resize the graphic in Block Builder. You can use this to test out if your code actually responds to resize. Next, I'll talk about the final project proposal. What I'd like you to do is make an editing pass through your first version of the proposal and just make sure there's no spelling or grammatical errors, and expand on anything important or interesting, remove unnecessary stuff. And if you've done any more prototypes in the meantime, feel free to add those images of those and descriptions of those too. The big new piece is to create a schedule of deliverables. And this would be like a new section in the document that has around 5 to 15 tasks. And in this section, you should have a bulleted list that looks sort of like this. By approximately this date, I'm going to create a project repository in GitHub by forking this one, DataViz project template, that has the resizing working. And then, maybe by October 12th, I'll add the data to the repository, refactor, blah, blah, blah. I've created sort of an example schedule of deliverables that you don't have to use, but you can copy this and modify it, to have tasks that are specific to your goals, your data set, and the sketches that you made. And please do begin the project as soon as you want to by forking this repository, DataViz project template. Just to give you a little overview, it uses Webpack, so you can use npm install to install Webpack, and then use npm run serve to watch for changes in the files that will automatically update in your browser. So once you run this, you can go to localhost 8080 and see this running. This project has an index.html here. There's not much here, it just loads the content from bundle.js. Bundle.js is one file that gets built by Webpack by putting together these two files, index.js and scatterplot.js. Index.js imports the scatterplot from the scatterplot.js, and this index.js defines like the x value, the x label, the margin, and all this stuff, and then it invokes the scatterplot every time the window resizes. This scatterplot.js module defines the scales and stuff, and then it exports a function that renders the scatterplot. And this function uses the general update pattern all over the place, meaning that this function can be invoked over and over and over again, and everything will sort of behave correctly. See, this, I have it running locally, and if I access localhost 8080, this is what I get, a scatterplot that responds to resize. All right, that's week 5 in a nutshell. Welcome to this week. I hope it's not too intense. Please feel free to ask for help in the help channel in our class Slack or the global D3 Slack. You can access that community as well. So yeah, hope you enjoy this week.